yeah, they were on the street on skateboards, but they were literally just skating down a hill. So.
Wow. Yeah. Their priorities are screwed up now. You know, I drive here every day, man. I see now a guy run a red light, and they'll just look at him. You know?
They'll watch as somebody shatters your window and takes your stuff out of your car.
Yeah. But you want to blow at the garbage truck. Yeah. So the kid, were they like skating down that big hill over there by the park?
Yeah. And apparently it's something that happens like once a year, every year.
Yeah. Oh, so that big.
It's not just like the first time that they did something like this and the police came out. They've done this before and the police have never, like, the police have always been there to, like, keep people safe because they usually, like, block the streets to keep cars from hitting vans or something. But this year that wasn't the case.
Yeah, I remember, what year was that, man? The kids was, shit, they had grabbed onto my car one day, man. Trying to get a pull, you know? I said, man, you can't do that. Fool around and get caught up under the wheel or something, you know? Yeah, but these police is going out here. I see them at the gas station every darn night, man. Up here off of Potrero. You know what that is, right? At that 76 station. And about 7 or 8 of them, man, just melting the clock, you know?
Definitely got their priorities a little messed up.
Yeah, they got it twisted. Believe me. I couldn't believe that, though. Garbage truck.
I had to set it between 9 and 10, I think.
He had something to do tonight. Blow us home, you know? So that's all we do.
In 1 mile, turn left on King Street.
King Street.
It's kind of sad to hear all the stores and the hotels and everything leaving the city because of all the crime.
Because of who now?
The crime and stuff that's been going on recently.
Right, well, which hotel did you hear about?
The Hilton here in Union Square, actually.
The Hilton?
Yeah, it's one of the bigger hotels in the city. Apparently, they decided they're not going to renew their lease.
The Hilton on you mean O'Farrell Hilton? 333 O'Farrell?
I think so.
That's the that's.
Hilton Union Square.
Oh shit, gee.
Yeah, that's gone.
Yeah.
That's leaving.
Yeah, that's leaving.
Oh.
So what was it? The mall.
Oh well, I knew the mall was
Yeah.
shutting down. Yeah, I knew that, but I didn't know the Hilton.
Yeah.
Damn.
And as you drive by that area of market, pretty much every other storefront is open.
More and more stores have said that they're going to close their San Francisco location.
Pretty soon, this place gonna be an apocalypse, man.
As somebody that grew up in Detroit,
Yeah.
I
You-
really hope it doesn't come back to Detroit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How long ago were you from?
I grew up in
You
Detroit.
grew up in Detroit.
We moved here in 2020.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, you guys what came from Detroit?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that Detroit. I was looking at that program about that guy out there, man. They call him White Boy Rick or something. Yeah, they call him. He was 16 years old, man. He was he got caught up in a drug thing, right? And yeah, he just got out of jail. What? Not too long ago. They really railroaded that guy, man. He, huh?
The public schools in Detroit have a graduation rate of less than 20%.
Graduation rate
Right, yeah.
of less than 20%.
Less than 20%. I think it's like 18 or 19%.
Are you
High
serious?
school seniors graduate.
Right now?
Yeah, that's current.
Wow.
Every year they graduate less than 20%.
Well, that must be in the mostly minority neighborhood, man.
In Detroit, it's actually the majority.
Just the majority?
In downtown Detroit, and like for Detroit public schools is the metric we're referring to.
What do you think?
92% of the students are black, and I think 5% are Latino. What do you think is really going on?
The schools don't have any kind of like good funding. They're in like a lot of them are in a state of disrepair.
Disrepair, yeah.
Yeah, and there's like the teachers don't have supplies for their classrooms, which happens to every teacher across the country at some point. But they to the point where like they sometimes don't even have desks and chairs for the students. They crowd the classes, so the student to teacher ratio is way too high.
Well, how in the heck?
All the teachers that can afford to don't teach in Detroit.
Don't
They teach because
They teach outside in the suburbs.
nicer areas.
Yeah, inner city Detroit is poor. If you go immediately outside, there's one of the richest neighborhoods
in the U.S.
well, at the very least in southeastern Michigan, Grosse Pointe,
What's
where
what is that place called?
It's called Grosse Pointe.
Grosse Pointe?
Yeah, Grosse Point. It's just another neighborhood, but that is one of the richest neighborhoods in the state. So all the teachers that make any kind of money, or that have the qualifications to, or aren't forced to teach in downtown Detroit,
they
will go the 15 minutes or 30 minutes to teach
somewhere else.
So you really the only teachers that you end up getting in Detroit are the ones that don't have anywhere else to go.
Right, they
Can't get a job anywhere else. And there's so few people that want to do it that they're forced to cram all the students, like she was saying, into one large, overcrowded classroom
Right.
with a teacher that isn't necessarily one that like the most highly qualified to begin with, and two, certainly isn't like in a position where they can handle
All that.
35, 40 students at once.
And then you've got, obviously there are some students that have behavioral issues. There are some students that are underprivileged. So you've got issues with like
You got a bunch of
home
problems.
life and
It's a bunch of problems.
Mhm.
And some of them teachers don't even want to.
Yeah, and there's the whole chicken and the egg thing. Some people sit there and say that the reason why the schools are bad are because the students are bad, and then some people are saying that the students are bad because the schools are bad, and problem is it's like a self-feeding cycle, right?
Yeah.
The good teachers don't want to go to Detroit because of everything that's happening there. No support, no money, no nothing. And then the good students don't want to go in there, and they'll go to the other richer neighborhoods. They'll do whatever they can to get over there.
Right.
So really, like, Detroit Public Schools is just a collection of everybody that has nowhere else to go and has no choice.
Wow. I didn't know it was that bad.
That's really bad.
And like you've got a lot of the suburb neighborhoods around Detroit are reasonably rich because you've got Chrysler and GM and Ford over there.
Yeah.
And you've got a bunch of other companies that are like building up the suburbs and bringing in money to those areas.
Yeah, they don't care nothing about the minorities.
Then you've got downtown Detroit proper, like the metro downtown area. That investors are buying up property and flipping it and gentrifying the area and pricing people out of that area. So you've got even like a shrinking area that a number of people can afford.
Right.
And you've got a lot of crime in some of those areas. You've got a lot of like, there are
Detroit was worse.
A lot of neighborhoods with a lot of burnt houses and stuff like that. So.
It's bad, and it's believe it or not, it's
better than it used to be.
It's better than it used to be. It's a lot better than it used to be.
Than it used to be.
At the expense, everything, and nothing comes for free, right? So one of the other major issues that happened with Detroit is in the 50s, Detroit was built out with all kinds of infrastructure for it to be like the size and such of Chicago, right? So able to handle a massive amount of people, lots of expensive infrastructure. They actually did a very good job of initially building out all the infrastructure to support a very large, vibrant city. What ended up happening was after some of the riots that were happening in the 80s, all the money left. If you had money, you left downtown where you were paying a city tax, and you went to go live in the suburbs where you didn't have to pay a city tax. So you have all this expensive infrastructure to maintain, all these expensive roads, water treatment, everything. And all the people paying, whatever percentage of their salary, one are not living in Detroit, so they're not paying the full city tax. Two,
so all the money just left.
Yeah, it's just gone. So you have this huge debt over your head. You're this huge
big deficit,
upkeep, and nobody paying it.
I was kind of shocked. I saw a program on it, man. I didn't realize Detroit was. I mean, man, I would say maybe around 90s. Early 90s. Yeah,
that's when I was.
It was rampant with drugs, man.
Oh, it was miserable. It was bad.
It was terrible.
When I was there, it was bad.
Killings and there's about maybe four or five major drug rings there.
I mean, there was a time when I lived directly in between the number 1 and number 2 murder capitals of the United States. Number 1 was Flint.
Flint, Michigan?
Yeah, Flint, Michigan. It's only an hour drive, or an hour and a half drive from Detroit.
Detroit. You say it was a murder capital, you said?
Yeah, it had the highest murder per capita ratio in the United States.
Right.
It was bad.
And there was one point where, Flint has gotten to have a lot of problems. I'm sure you heard about the water issues that were going on a few years back.
It's still going on. They're just not talking about it.
But there was actually one point where I think Flint, as a large city, had a total of maybe six people working on their police force. 6?
Yeah.
I saw a program on Flint, Michigan. It was on Netflix.
Yeah, it would have been on the water.
And it was about Flint, Michigan, man.
Yeah, it would have been all about the water problem that they're having.
It was about the police deal over there.
Oh, it's the police deal.
Yeah,
I mean, that's its own thing as well. But.
It was.
But so what happened in the last 6 or 8 years is in Detroit is since the value of the property and everything went so low in
went
Quicken
solo.
Loans, which actually has a major complex. in
Quicken
Detroit.
Loans?
Quicken Loans.
You may have heard of a company called Rocket Mortgage.
I've heard of that.
Quicken Loans owns Rocket Mortgage.
It's a banking institution,
Mhm,
right?
right, yeah.
A lender and banking institution. They bought pretty much every piece of real estate in downtown Detroit they could, with the intent of renovating and flipping it.
Flipping it, yeah.
Now, say what you will about the impacts of gentrification pushing people out.
Mhm.
Since then, that area of Detroit has started bringing in a lot more people, has become a lot more popular, and at this point, like I said, the biggest problem that Detroit had, and still has, is the fact that the upkeep for its infrastructure can't be supported by the income of the people that live there.
Right, the infrastructure can't be supported
Yeah, the
by
infrastructure
the
can't be
people that are there because they can't maintain it.
Yeah, they're not paying enough taxes to the
Right.
city.
A lot of the people that are there have lived there for generations. So
Right.
So what has happened is a positive feedback loop now, where because they bought the center, because the center of town is now, renovated, nicer, has a bunch of fresh new life and love in it, with a bunch of other costs that come with it, but that's now an income generating region of the city,
Yeah.
which is positively adding funds into the city, so they've actually been able to start to balance the books and maintain their infrastructure and make the changes or make the improvements and maintenance required to their infrastructure. That's going to make it continue to do better and better. But it's going to take a lot of time, because you don't just flick a switch and suddenly a city goes from being one it was not essentially, it was bankrupt.
What was bankrupt?
The entire city went bankrupt.
Detroit.
yeah, Detroit filed for bankruptcy.
Then it had so much corruption in there, man.
Yeah, that was Kwame's fault.
Kwame's.
Yeah, Kwame Kilpatrick was the mayor of Detroit.
Talking about the black guy. That black guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a. He was. He was. Oh yeah, he was corrupt, man. Damn. Can't make that left turn, baby. Yeah, Detroit, man, had some. I didn't realize. I had a friend, one of my best friends. He was from Detroit, and but I just didn't know the history of it, man.
If he went, the only reason why I am able to have a job here in San Francisco and such is because I didn't go to Detroit public schools, and because I didn't. I did not. I grew up. I spent my summers in Detroit, but I lived with my parents outside of the city, like everybody that had money.
You were there, but you weren't there.
I mean, well, I wasn't there for I didn't go through Detroit public schools.
That's what I'm saying.
But I did. During the summers, my mother's a tennis pro, not like one of the glitzy tennis pros.
Yeah,
I'm talking about one of the pros that when you go into a pro shop, you purchase an hour of tennis lessons from, she's a teaching pro.
Right.
Or the other thing that she did was she also helped both. I don't know if I ever told this. She actually did community outreach tennis things in Detroit.
Oh, you didn't?
Yeah, she did that as well. But that would, because my mother worked in the city and my father worked in the city. We ended up living in the city for the summer.
in the main part of the city.
Yeah. And that's not a place you would want. If you spent 3 months in the city, you were at the very least a witness to some kind of what we would consider a major crime.
You say you were a witness.
Yeah, you were a witness.
of something.
Like, for instance, for me, I was at a gas station during an armed robbery, like in the first 3 months.
An armed robbery?
Yeah, armed robbery.
You were inside the store?
I was adjacent to the store, so I was sitting in the car. We were pumping gas at the store while somebody was robbing the convenience store attached to it.
You saw it?
Yeah, we saw it.
A guy came in with a gun or something?
Yeah. Showed up, put a gun on the counter, and started having the guy put, like I assume, asked for money.
Yeah.
What did we do? My mom went, I pointed it out, and my mom got in the car and we drove off somewhere else.
Right.
And then reported it, called in to report it, so we didn't have to wait around.
Exactly.
But, I saw that.
You said I saw that?
Yeah, just as an example of what I saw. And then my manager at my previous job went to school, went to Wayne State University, which is a college in Detroit.
Yeah.
In the city of Detroit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually a pretty good university because it's not attached to the city. It's just there. And his friend was shot and killed at a gas station.
Wow. His friend was...
Yeah, his friend to make ends meet while he was at college, to make beer money and such. He was working at a gas station in the night shift.
Oh, man.
Which is,
that's the worst.
Risky to begin with. But, he got unlucky. And lost his life over it. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, Detroit is a mess.
Drop us off right here.
Oh, right here?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, this is my office building.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it was nice talking with you guys.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you so much for
welcome.
that. I really appreciate it.
Have a good one. Okay, boss. You think you'll ever go back to Detroit?
It's nice to visit.
Yeah, just to visit.
Yeah.
Okay. You too now.